That's how you are. You like to remember what you do. Or fall right back.
Hello, hello, and welcome to another amazing Innovate San Diego live event. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Zach Robb. I am the co-founder of the Insight Shopping app, helping you guys connect with local businesses here in San Marcos and in the San Diego area. Today we have an amazing guest speaker. He started a basketball program called Shooting Stars. He is the most amazing person in San Marcos right now. Please welcome to the stage, Rick with Shooting Stars.
Thank you. I've never been called the most amazing person in San Marcos before, but it's probably true, let's be honest. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, so my name is Rick Clark. I run with my wife Shooting Stars Basketball in San Marcos. So we are a basketball program for special needs kids, which is pretty cool. We have this year about 135 kids playing with us and 200 volunteers-ish. We've had, before COVID, pre-COVID, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but pre-COVID we were closer to 160 kids and 250 volunteers. So next year, when COVID is over, we are going to be all over it. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, why we started Shooting Stars. So we had played basketball or baseball, and we played soccer with a bunch of our, special needs kids, and it was amazing. But our son Jacob, who is now 23, when we started this, he was 8, a lot cuter at 8 than at 23, but he was a basketball guy. He loved basketball. We live on a hill, so our neighbor across the street had a basketball hoop, and it's funny because he'd play basketball, he'd throw up the ball, and then watch it roll down the hill, because he wasn't going to be the one chasing it, so everybody else had to chase it, which worked out well. But there was no programs. We asked around. We're trying to find a special needs program for him, and there just wasn't any. And so my wife and I decided, you know what, we're gonna check around. We're gonna design our own. So we called San Marcos Youth Basketball, and they were amiable to let us in. After a couple months, we called them and kind of waited, went on a vacation to Hawaii, and while we're in Hawaii, we get the call. They're like, "What do you need? Why do you keep calling us?" And so I said, "Well, I don't need money. All I need is an umbrella. I just need a group to play underneath." And so, they invited us in, and we've been with them 50 years. They've been amazing. We started our first year. So we're in Hawaii in 2006, and it's I think Thanksgiving 2006. So we're hanging out. We're just doing our own thing, and all of a sudden we get the call. And so I spent the last 4 days we're in Hawaii designing the program, which we kind of talked about it, but weren't sure what was going to happen. So the first season we took a bunch of our soccer kids, and we played, and we had 8 players. We had 10 buddies, 4 coaches, 1 court. It's really cute. The funny is that we have one team picture with us, and I'm holding one of the kids, and he's doing this, trying to run away. So it's our only team picture from the first year. So kind of funny. I found that the other day. So we weren't sure at that point, if we're going to do it a second year, what the need was going to be. We did registrations the second year, and we had a little bit more lead time. We ended up with 27 kids the second year. So at Smith Gym, there's 3 courts next to each other. We ended up with all three courts. Third year, we're 47, 67. Anyway, so we're at this year, like I said, we're 135 kids this year, which is fun. Thank you. We had 162 kids, I think, in our biggest year, which is the pre-COVID year. But it's pretty neat. So the cool thing about Shooting Stars, because people go, oh, it's especially basketball. What's that all about? And my thing is, when you have a kid that plays sports, and we all have kids, and we know kids, we have nieces, we have nephews that play sports. And so they'll go up and they'll shoot a basket, you know, and we kind of expect them to make it after a while. You know, they make one, they make a couple baskets, and at the end of the game, they've scored 10 points, and we're like, okay, you know, great, you scored 10 points. Well, with our kids, whether it's muscle tone or you know, the baskets are too high or whatever, and we've got all kinds of, we have 4-foot baskets, 6-foot baskets, 8-foot baskets. Our kids, when they make a basket, it's like they won the World Series. I mean, they are excited. They are, you know, the smiles on their faces. So when we do the buddy orientation, and they get to listen to me for 50 minutes, so I'm not going to talk for 50 minutes, but they get to listen for 50 minutes. But we talk about small victories. So you get a kid to dribble a basketball twice this week. Next week, let's get them to dribble 4 or 5 times. Or if they don't make a basket this week, let's make one. Or if they make one, let's make 2 or 3. And so, like I said, with a regular kid, and we have a son who is a pitcher at San Jose State. So we went through the whole travel ball and all that side of things, where you know, we have to kind of see how the other half lives. You know, you take it all for granted. You know, you just figure that, you know, you're always going to have that next year. You're always going to have another year to play with the kids, and so you know, it's kind of neat with the special needs sports, because, like I said, you get the smile every week. You get a smile on something. It's a high five. Another year to play with the kids, you know, so, anything. So you know, it's kind of neat. Well, that's. I do this in the orientation. I do like a 10-page speech from the orientation. I'd be like, I did that, I did that, I did that. So the other neat thing with the special needs kids is the inclusion piece. And so most kids, they get to play on a team. You sign them up for basketball, and they get to go play on a team, and it's no big deal because they are on a team. They're just, you know, with our kids, with special needs kids, they don't always have that opportunity, especially as they get older. But when they're younger, we give them the opportunity to play on a team, to be part of a group where maybe they never get to do that. So it's really cool to see the kids, and they just feel that sense of community, which is kind of neat. The other bonus that we've seen with especially with the community is, so we have buddies. So every special needs kid has a one-to-one buddy for the whole year, and they you know, we have some programs that we've been in that they'll rotate the buddies. Like the buddies show up and they go, oh, I'm going to take Jimmy this week, and I'm going to take Bobby. And so to back up for 1 second, so when we designed the program, we had done soccer, we did baseball. We took all the stuff we didn't like and left it over there, and we kept all the stuff we liked. So one of the things we really liked was we wanted to keep the buddies and the players together, because we wanted them to be able to build that relationship. So we wanted them to build a relationship that they normally wouldn't have, because the kids that are our buddies are who, you know, I remember being in middle school and high school, you know, for many years. But I remember being there, and so the special ed classrooms were, you know, they were over there. They were kind of aside. It wasn't like you were mean to the kids. You just never had a chance to interact. And so this gives the kids a chance, the buddies, a chance to interact with our special needs kids and realize they're not contagious. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just kids. And so that's been a really neat byproduct that we really didn't see when we first started it. So the buddies get, I think, as much out of it as if they buy into it. We have some that don't, but most of our buddies really buy into the program. They understand. So when we play the game, the buddies are the other team, which makes me in 14 seasons undefeated. Thank you very much. So yeah, so you know, it's designed so that we win by a lot. You know, even if we don't, we do. The funniest thing is we make the buddies push the ball off the court, and so especially the little guys, it's like a piranha fest. I mean, they go up and they'll steal the ball, and it's pretty cool. So, but like I said, the kids get to be around, you know, the other kids that are different than them. And I think, you know, I tell the buddies during orientation that one of the cool things that they get out of it is a change in perspective, because when you're not around the kids and they're over there and it's just, you know, those are other kids and they're the weird kids and they do some crazy stuff. Whether it's Tourette's or, you know, they're swearing, and and it just is what it is. It's just they can't control it. But in the old days, they were kept over there. Now they're trying to be more integration, and so it's kind of cool because the kids, when they see them at school or they see them at the grocery store, so it's almost like a little reunion. So it's kind of neat. Especially we do our first week, we call it meet and greet, and so the buddies, when they see their players, we try to keep the kids together sometimes for years. Like Jay, my son, who had his first buddy 6 or 7 years, and so it was just really neat because you got to see, they got to build that relationship. They see each other, instant recognition, and they get to build those relationships. So one of the things about Shooting Stars that we really tie in is the kids, the special needs kids, really miss out on the social piece, the social piece of a lot of things. And so we built Shooting Stars with not the intention of being competitive. I mean, obviously, because I'm such a good coach that we would win every week, so that just happens. But we build it so that the buddies, or so that the kids just get that, the sense of being around people, and it's that social piece that they just miss out on. So it's pretty cool. And like I said, by the end of the season, the buddies who really buy into it, you can just see it in their eyes. Their perspective on some things just changing. Yeah, they'll go to college and they'll drink a lot, and then they'll come to Rip Current when they get to be 21, and and they'll forget some of it. But I think the cool thing is it changes the way they look at things. So one of the things that we were asked about is coronavirus. I don't know if you guys heard about coronavirus, but it's been around for a year and a half, and how it's affected us. So before coronavirus, everything was nice and easy. I mean, we didn't even, obviously didn't think about it. You didn't think about germs. You didn't think about hand sanitizer and buckets. So, now we do. But one of the cool things we did last year, because we couldn't run the program last year just because there was no, we couldn't get with all the restrictions, the mask restrictions, and everybody was scared last year, which not for no reason, but we did a cool event. We did a drive-through event. So we had all the players and their parents drive through the parking lot at the gym, and we got the kids T-shirts, and we got a barrel of monkeys to help tie their masks together, in the bag, all kinds of cool stuff with foam fingers that were number one. So I assume that was all from me because being the number one coach, it does do that. So that was it was a really cool event because you could tell the kids really hadn't seen people and around them for a year. And so we're on the third week this year of the program, and we were kind of leery because we weren't sure what this year was going to bring. I mean, we were going to have buddies, we were going to have players, we had no idea. And it's been really cool to see the players come back. And we've not lost, they just didn't play. So I was have to catch myself. So, but we have 50 kids that decided, out of 162 that decided not to play. And then we picked up 25 new ones. What that means is next year, we're in serious trouble because we'll have 180 kids next year, So our return rate on our players is about 95%, and our return rate on our buddies is about 85%. So they originally come to us because they get community service hours, and then I think, like I said, as long as they buy into it, they have a great time, they stay with us. So that's kind of neat. We got the lessons that we've learned. So one of the cool things with Shooting Stars, and it's more of a feeling in the community. We see, well, the programs come and go, and we see all that. When we started Shooting Stars, we took it on faith. The first couple of years, my wife and I paid for the program for the most part. We had some registration fees, but we paid for it. And then we kind of opened it up, and we sent it out emails to a few people that we knew just looking for sponsors. And so we have been incredibly fortunate. I think we have 37 sponsors this year. But we put that faith and that trust out there, just knowing that we had what we thought was a good program. And people really got behind us. So that's been, I think, one of the biggest lessons from it, and just a trust. I mean, we've had different times where we've done different things with the program. We try to evolve it every year, and every year we're like, God, is that going to work? Is that going to work? And we just got to, trust ourselves, and we've been right so far. So at least my wife tells me that I'm right. So I'm assuming that makes her right too. So that's good. But no, we've been really fortunate with the players coming through, but also the buddies, because we have middle school and high school kids, and if we didn't have those, and we didn't have the coaches, some of them who have special needs kids, and some of them just are in the community and they just want to help out. We've been really fortunate. We couldn't run the program without the amazing person in my life, well, me, I mean, but then also my wife. So we have a deal. So I get to do all the public speaking, and she gets to do all the behind the scenes work. And she never wants to trade roles. It's weird. I keep asking, and then Jacob is our stoic rock. So he's in the red sweatshirt back there, but he is the reason we started the program. Which, like I said, 15. This is our 15th season, so 15, 16 years ago. So it was I can't believe it's been that long. We were looking at that the other day going, oh my gosh, it's pretty amazing. But we've been really fortunate. Looking forward, so we keep looking at, we get all these questions of how long are you gonna run Shooting Stars? Oh my gosh, it's been 15 years. So I'm not announcing our retirement yet. Just so you know, it's mic drop, But no, it's been a labor of love for 15 years, and I think we'll keep it going as long as there's the need. And so we've like I said, we've been going for a long time, and we've got it almost wired. This year was a little bit of a hiccup just because of COVID and trying to get uniforms and basketballs, and I don't know if you saw the shipping containers. Luckily, none of those were ours, out on the docks and everything. So we ordered ahead of time, but next year, when I come up, when I come up here, but when we run our program, I'll be a lot grayer because we will have 180 kids and searching for buddies, and and we'll make it through. So that's kind of the program in a nutshell. I mean, anybody have any questions?
So what is your background, and do you have background in basketball?
So do have a background in basketball. Being an amazing athlete when I was a kid. My dad was on scholarship, back in years ago. But I played when I was a kid. But we don't have any formal background. With running the program, we get that actually ask that question a lot. Did we go to school for it? Do we have a bachelor's in early childhood development or something? And I said, well, I have a special needs kid. I think that actually qualifies for just about anything. But yeah, so that is, we don't have any special background, but basketball was just something that wasn't available. And so, we had played for years. I come originally from the Midwest, South Dakota, and my mom graciously brought me here when I was in high school, saved me from South Dakota and snow and winters. And so, I will say when I was 14, I was not very happy to leave South Dakota. But as I've gotten older, and now I'm 50 or something, I'm very happy that I'm not in South Dakota. So yeah, that's it. We don't have any special training. We just we don't have we have a special needs kid. But the interesting thing with the program, even every coach, every court, because we have 13 different teams, 13 or 26 different coaches. We have a couple of coaches for every court. Every parent or every guy runs their court a little bit differently, and we have some guidelines that we run by, but for the most part, they're all on their own, running their own thing, and like I said, we've been fortunate that they keep coming back. Sometimes we look at them and we're like, they've been here for a long time and they don't have a kid, but they keep coming back. So, Dave, do you have a question?
Where do you find your buddies?
Where do we find our buddies from? So, we initially, the middle school or the high schools here have a 10-hour community service requirement. I don't know if they're still doing it during COVID. I don't know. I didn't check, but that's originally how we get the buddies, because they come in and then they bring their friends and they bring two friends and they bring two friends, or their siblings or something else. And so this year we had a supply chain problem because we lost a year. So all the kids that were going to be seniors and bring in their freshman friends or whatever, we lost that whole year. So this year's been a struggle for buddies, but I assume that by next year, they'll all be back. But no, it's middle school and high school kids, and they come with their friends, and some of the parents, it's interesting because we do our orientation. The buddies, you know, you can tell some of them, the parents were like, "You are going to do this," and the kids are like, "Oh yeah, Mom, I really want to do this," you know, and they're scared, you know. And that's my favorite. The buddy orientation, we do it like for 50 minutes, so they have to hear me for 50 minutes. So you guys are lucky. I'm not going to speak for 50 minutes, but it's the first couple minutes is like deer in a headlight. They're like, "What the heck am I doing here? Oh my gosh!" And then as we kind of calm them down as we go through, and they get into the first and second week, because it's usually by this coming week is our third week of games, and it's usually the third week that everything just kind of calms down. The buddies calm down, the players calm down, and so everything runs smoothly. So I didn't say that, honey. I didn't say it runs smoothly because it's hard on the court. I have to, you know, do a lot of work. So, any other questions? Did we have any doubts at the beginning? You know, we didn't know what we were doing at the beginning. You know, we had coached baseball, we had coached soccer. We kind of thought we knew what we were doing, but we hadn't ever been in a special needs basketball program. So the cool thing about the program is we got to take all these things from the programs we had been in that we didn't like, and whether, you know, it was how the games were run, whether it was how the buddies interacted with the kids, or whether they weren't assigned to the buddies. And we just got to do whatever we wanted. The league, the SMYBB, who runs the regular first grade through seventh grade, eighth grade league, they were really gracious, and they didn't put any restrictions on us. They had a couple of the board members that, I don't want to say monitored us, but kind of watched what we did for a couple of years to make sure we weren't doing anything crazy. And it's been 15 years of an amazing relationship. So they've been really good. So no, it's just anyway. Yeah. So other questions? I can't hear you. No, I'm sorry.
And you're so good at putting people with the same amount of abilities together
Yeah.
to play, and it's really amazing. And the kids get a great takeaway as well. Jimmy does a great job putting together CDs and pictures, and all of the kids. It's a phenomenal program. I just am really grateful.
Thank you. Yeah. So we thank you. Yeah, this is kind of the interesting part of our program every year. So we get all the buddies or all the players that sign up, and so we kind of put them in teams, and usually they're by age. And then we the ones that we don't know, because we know 80-90% of the kids that are coming back, but we talk to the parents and kind of figure out how mobile they are, if they're verbal, are they, you know, functional as far as being able to move up and down the court, or are they, you know, are they slower? And so every hour we have 3 courts, and we have one that runs a little bit slower, one that's kind of medium, and one that runs a little bit faster, and it's a little bit different every hour. But it's interesting because we pair that up, and then my wife says, we take the buddies, and you try to pair up the kids that you know are a little more difficult with the bigger buddies and with the different players. And so every year it's like, oh, you know, she asks me, what do you think about these pairings? What do you think these kids are going to do well together? And I say, because that's her job. See, I do my job coaching on the court, and I'm still alive because, you know, I just nod a lot, and so I get by. Go ahead.
I got a comment or compliment to make, and that is that being my brother-in-law and my nephew, I've seen this program grow over the years, and it's been tremendous. The heart and soul and passion that you put into this, you're not getting paid to do this. You're volunteering. They're there from 8 in the morning until literally 9, 10 o'clock at night, all day, ready to see. So
Thank you.
We've been buddies, and we've helped out, and I'm like, hey, I'm
yeah, so and that's my sister-in-law. So saying nice things about me. I did not pay her, but that was. That's true.
And it is actually, high schools don't know about this program. Colleges don't, state. So anything that you can do to help promote that for the buddies as well, get others involved, and it is actually.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of communities that don't have, but we actually get calls every year. We get 2 or 3 calls every year from Georgia, from wherever. They'll find our program online, and they'll ask about it. And can you franchise it? I'm like, dude, I don't franchise it. It's a one-off. My wife designed it, so we don't. Feel free to use whatever you want. If you don't want to use, like I said, when we started the program, stuff we didn't like, we just didn't do. And that's kind of how we run it. So we don't.
Going off that, do you plan or want to expand the program to other areas?
I don't have that many volunteer hours. No, it's funny because we've looked at it, years. We thought about starting our own nonprofit at one point, and then there's actually a lot of work involved in that, and so. No, we've looked at it, trying to go out and do that, because we have some friends that did that with softball. They tried to franchise it, and it's hard. We have regular jobs, and so our bosses don't really want us to go do the job. They barely know about this one. Don't look at it online. I'm just kidding. So this has grown from when it was eight kids when we first started. It was cute, we spent a couple hours here and there. Now with, it's a lot of nights and weekends, but we spend, 40, 50 hours a week during the season, especially. We go pick up snacks for all the kids, and with 300 people a week, it's chips and cookies, and we got a Smart and Final, and every time we walk out there, like, wow, that's a lot of unhealthy food, because we tried a couple weeks to do granola bars. They do not go over well with kids. So I'm going to let you guys, when there's Oreos or granola bars, they always pick Oreos. And that's for you doing trick or treating. Celery sticks don't work either. So yeah, we've no, like I said, we put in a lot of hours, but it's complete labor of love. We love what we do. Every year, when you first started, the first couple of weeks, you're like, oh my gosh, we had to order uniforms, and so we get to do a lot of the work, the pre-work before the kids get there. But once you see the kids and you see the buddies, and it's, you realize it's all worth it. And it's, it doesn't always seem like that when you're setting it up, because it's like you get done, especially you get done with the season, you're like, oh, we get to relax. We get a Sunday where we don't have to do this. But by the time it rolls around to August, September, we're ready to roll again. So at the end, we miss the kids. It's all about them anyways. And me. I mean, it's all about me, but it's mostly about the kids. So, yeah. Well, I get that a lot.
You had years where you lost money. You had to support it yourself.
So the first 2 years we ran it. We didn't ask for sponsors. We ran it through a family business, and then we had some registration fees. So the first year I was looking at the shirts the other day. The first year I did the iron-ons for the shirts, and the little sponsored logo on the back. I did that, So we did all those the first couple of years, and then, like I said, the third year we asked for sponsors, and we figured if we got a couple $100, and we ended up with, I think, 11 sponsors our first year, and it was, it wasn't like we made $1 million, but you made enough to pay for the program, and we have some pretty amazing sponsors now that keep us rolling. That's the nice things. We don't ever have to worry. Well, eventually we might have to, but today we don't have to worry about money. So that's a good thing. But we always take more donations. So if you feel like your company wants to donate, I'm here for you. So. Any other questions?
What is your favorite part of running the program?
What is my favorite part of running the program? So it's all about the kids. I mean, it's just, I get to see it from a different perspective than any other parent and anybody else besides my wife, who never makes it to the court. She's always stuck in the front. But we get to see 5 hours. So right now we have 5 hours, 3 courts at a time for 5 hours on Sundays. That we get to see kids come in, and you get to just see smiling face after smiling face. And that's, I think, if the kids didn't enjoy it, if there really was some resistance to it, we wouldn't do it. We'd just call it a day. But it's hard every year not to come back. The kids are amazing. Especially as they get older. So there's always kid programs for younger kids, the little kids, because they're cuter, and it's, you run a program. You get to the kid, when kids get to 16, 17, 18, there aren't there's Special Olympics, but there aren't as many programs for them as they get older. So we've got some older kids. We go up to 25, 26 years old with our players. We start at 5 years old. So as the day goes by, the kids get like this, you know. But we start at the 5-year-olds at 1 o'clock, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, and we end up with the 20 to 25-year-olds at 5 o'clock. So we get to see a lot of it's all about the kids. Anything else? Like Bueller, anyone? All right.
I'll probably do a closing statement.
Thank you, Rick, for everything that you're doing for everybody here in San Marcos. And we're going to be sure to put the links in the description for everybody who's watching online so they can connect if you do want to get involved. Because like was mentioned before, this program isn't available everywhere. So we really appreciate you, Rick, and everything for designing the program and doing the entrepreneur journey yourself, building your program. So yeah, we will be back here. Innovate San Diego happens the third Thursday of every single month, and we feature entrepreneurs and people with crazy amount of passion. You could hear it from Rick. So please be sure to check out our next episode because we have another amazing guest speaker for our next episode. So thank you for tuning in online. Thank you for coming out to Rip Current Brewery, my favorite brewery in San Marcos. Matt, I'm talking to you. So I'm gonna drop the mic now.
That is all.